Wake up, Pre-Health Sharks. It is time for another edition of our Wake Up Pre-Health Sharks webinar. My name is Emilio Lorenzo. I am one of our experts. We're going to be talking about pre-health knowledge topics, giving you the guidance you need to be successful with your career goals. I'm going to turn it over, as always, to our two other experts. Let them introduce themselves, and then we'll talk about the topic that we have for today that will help you with your goals.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Gabby Gross, and I'm an Edge Advisor in the Center for Academic and Professional Success, and I'm excited to be back for winter 2021 semester.
Woohoo! And I am Daniela Crocky Suarez. I also go by Danny the Machine, you know the drill. And I am also a career advisor over in CAPS. So happy new year, happy winter 2021. We are excited to start us off with this prep for success.
Absolutely. And that's the topic for today, making sure that you take advantage of this semester, winter 2021, make it the best yet, making sure you're building yourself up, you're moving forward. And we have a lot of tips on how you can ensure that this semester is being utilized effectively. You know the resources available, the events. So we have a lot to cover, anywhere from internships to opportunities to leadership. So we're going to dive into it. And again, this is going to be a recorded webinar that will be available on our YouTube channel.
And so even just jumping right in, we're talking about adjusting to this new time for college students, which actually isn't even as much of a new time anymore. I know we had talked about this a little bit in our fall prep for success last semester. So, you know, there's one thing where we did not expect that maybe it would go on this long, but the good thing is that at this point, we have a lot of opportunities and resources that have made available for our pre-health students to gain experiences. So it's given us a much better understanding of ways that you yourself can be competitive when you do want to apply for these professional programs. So with a lot of this going on, it is well known that a lot of healthcare opportunities have been different, or they've shifted in a different kind of way. For example, I know my students may have not been able to volunteer at their hospitals as much as they typically would have in past semesters. So one thing that we have noted here is being flexible and adapting to different circumstances, and then finding some opportunities that can be a little bit more creative. So we've seen, for example, I think there's like a pre-health shadowing group on campus now, where we have that released in our newsletters every month, where students are now finding shadowing opportunities to do telehealth or telemedicine with physicians and see what those appointments can look like. We still have case competitions going on, which we'll be going into later, and just different ways that you yourself can get creative and do opportunities that get you those transferable skills. And lastly, just taking care of yourself too, knowing that this is, again, one of those unprecedented times that can still put that, you still have that initiative to want to build these pre-health experiences, but also finding a way to understand that every student is going through this right now, and it's okay if you're finding different ways that may not always be pre-health related, but still giving you skills that you need here.
Absolutely.
And so this is a bit of a recap of what we've talked about just as a group before, which is the 5 pillars of pre-health. This is something we really advocate for as really 5 top things that your professional, med, dental schools, they all look at when it comes to a competitive pre-health student. One would be maintaining those high academics, looking at those admissions tests like the OAT, the GRE, the MCAT, and making sure you feel confident and successful in those and balancing all your classes. Next would be just building healthcare experiences. These can be through things like shadowing. It can be through scribing, being a medical assistant, anything that gets you patient exposure and really understanding what it's like to be in that setting is critical, especially just for you to know, is this the field I want to go into? Next would be research. Research is something that's so highly valued by a lot of different, not just professors, but by the professional schools as well. And it shows you as a future healthcare professional that you like to be innovative and you like to continue learning and staying up to date with the trends that are going on in your field. So finding ways to build research opportunities with professors or with national programs is always fantastic. The next one here is leadership and professional experience. So that I love this one because I think this is the one that really shows like you can build experiences that are not just healthcare related and they still love to see that. So I've seen students, become resident assistants or shark preview leaders and admissions ambassadors, peer leaders. Like there's so many opportunities for you to be a leader or even just get a part-time job somewhere and build all these like such valuable skills that show you know how to be a communicator, a team player, and all of those are so important in healthcare. And then the last pillar you see here is just community involvement. So that can be volunteering, that can be doing nonprofit work. Really, there's so many different ideas. And the next slide, I'll actually go into some of the creative ones we have, especially now with some COVID implications. So those are always great to show that you are someone who, you know, you're going into this for the right reasons and you do want to give back to the community. So we really value our 5 pillars and finding a way to build that balance while you're a student here.
Some really good points, Danny. Wherever you are in your healthcare journey, freshman to senior to taking a gap year, these 5 pillars really do relate to you. And if you don't have a mentor, meet with your advisor, help them evaluate where you stand on each of these pillars. So using this semester to help build yourself up in one or many of these pillars.
I was going to say that, Milo, it's never too late to continue building on these pillars, regardless of where you are with your journey.
Definitely. And one of the ones I went into, which is the last one, was virtual volunteering. So like I said, through COVID, we've found ways to get creative, be adaptable, and find what are ways you can still build these kinds of opportunities. So you'll see there's a long list here that we've just compiled of what our students have either brought to us, what we've learned just from our own experiences reaching out, and even the SLICE office, which is student leadership and civic engagement, they've made us aware of some of these really great opportunities too. So just a few of them that I'll point out, there's things like active listening and crisis text lines, where you yourself will be a trained volunteer crisis counselor to really be able to talk through difficult times with people and send them resources in their local area, which is, as you can probably imagine, a great skill to show that you know how to talk people down when they are facing some difficult situation and hardship. Being an online tutor or a mentor, that's a great way for you to show that you can be that learner, be that mentor for someone. I'm trying to look at some other ones that I consider my favorites. I know calling hospice cares and retirement centers, those are actually very much in need of having someone just to be able to call in and give those either patients or the residents just company or someone to talk to. And I know they highly appreciate the experience just as much as you will. Meals on Wheels and Caring Connections, that's been a really popular one just through the pandemic as well. Being someone who can deliver groceries, especially for those homes who may need it and may not be able to step out of their homes right now, and you can be that person to do it. I know Gabby mentioned the Be My Eyes app. She had brought it to our attention, and it's such a neat one where it involves you having the app and you are able to be someone's eyes for someone who may have some visual impairments and need the help in seeing around. So they basically have their phone facing what it is they're looking at, and you're describing to them what it is they're seeing. So it's such a cool volunteering opportunity. And then we have virtual SAS trips going on this semester as well. So some of you may have, if you're a returning student, you may have heard of our SAS trips offered by SLICE, which stands for Sharks in Service. Typically those are done like a week long in another city, sometimes another country, and you focus on like one initiative. But right now they've made them really adaptable. We have 3 going on this semester. I think one is based on empowering immigrants. Another one is climate change. So you can decide which one sounds like it's the best fit for you. And the SLICE office is doing a great job of giving you an Excel unit, an awesome experience, and still getting to work with other students. I think it's open right now on their Shark Hub site, so definitely check it out. It's a great volunteering opportunity here.
All right. Well, thank you, Danny, for all that awesome information. You already kind of opened up, but we're going to continue speaking about through the 5 pillars and how it really doesn't matter where you are in your time, whether you're a freshman, sophomore, or even in a gap year, you can still start to gain different experiences. So want to discuss just a few different pre-health experiences and touch on things that you can start looking into. For starters, scribing, very, very popular. We see tons of students scribing at Nova, and this is really where you specialize in charting physician and patient encounters. So really following around the doctor and scribing for them and assisting them in that way. Really great experience that a lot of medical schools like to see, or any other professional programs. Next up, phlebotomists, one that always gives me like the shakes a bit, myself going to the doctor. But this is also a really, really great experience for students because it's really direct to what you would do in a medical setting, such as drawing blood or performing blood transfusions, conducting research, anything to do with blood. So this is a great position as well for any undergraduate or student in a gap year experience. Same thing with medical assistant. This one, I think Amelia was saying, is becoming way more popular lately. Also known as a clinical assistant. It's used in an allied health profession, or it's considered an allied health professional who supports physicians in any work that they need, typically in clinical settings. So those are just 3 pre-health experiences we wanted to point out, but also wanted to keep in mind that because of COVID-19 and the pandemic, shadowing is not necessarily happening that much, just because I don't think that physicians and other healthcare professionals are comfortable with having students shadow them. We are, though, seeing a lot of virtual shadowing opportunities, like Danny said, so definitely check those out. But it's still important to try to connect with physicians or any other healthcare professionals in your area to see if they would be open to it, because you really never know. I think it's like a personal preference during this time. And like I said, even telehealth opportunities to shadow as well would be great to look into.
Perfect. And that's some really good points. And, with COVID-19, it's definitely affected students' ability to be able to shadow regularly or volunteer regularly. Many of these hospitals have halted that. However, scribe, phlebotomist, medical assistants, these are things that are still of need for many of these sites. And so by doing these experiences, you might be able to get the healthcare setting experience you need that are normally come through shadowing and volunteering in other areas.
Definitely. All right, so next, continuing on those 5 pillars. So research opportunities, we wanted to discuss this as well, because I feel like a lot of students are also a bit confused during this time with COVID and the pandemic and how they can gain research experience. It's still the same process. So always starting with, thinking about professors that you have connections with and have relationships with, and reaching out to those professors, seeing if they have any opportunities available. Maybe even remotely, you can be doing research. There's a lot of different things happening on NSU campus as well as outside of NSU campus. Coming to those meetings too, or coming to your professors with your own research project ideas is also a great suggestion, because you never know if maybe those faculty or those researchers have never thought of this idea and would love to research that specific area. And being flexible, we talked about this in the beginning, like Danny said, during this time, it's really important to be adaptable and flexible, to contribute in any way that you can, whether that is in person or remotely, depending on, how the researcher or the faculty member feels comfortable doing so. And we also wanted to touch on REUs, which are research experiences for undergraduates. And this is a program that the National Science Foundation hosts. And what it is there's a bunch of different universities and programs that host students to do research under either a faculty member or researcher in a specific area. This is a very prestigious program and definitely very competitive, but we highly recommend students to apply to REUs through the National Science Foundation. I know that Nova has had some summers that they have hosted students, but a lot of other institutions do as well. Typically, I've read it's about like 10 to 15 students that are paired together doing research on one topic. So it's a great way to not only, do research, conduct research, but also get to know other students in different areas. So definitely consider checking out REUs as well.
Some really good point. There's over 1,000 of them throughout the country. In addition to those, there's summer medical and dental immersion programs. I know UF has one for dentistry specifically. Doctors of Tomorrow program, which is at FIU campus. So there's a lot of things that you could take advantage of for research and those programs. And between now and really through February, a lot of these deadlines are coming up, something that our CAPS office can help you with in terms of putting a competitive application.
Definitely. I would say starting early, like now, is very important, because like Emilio said, they really do. I think it's the February, March time that these deadlines come up, and the applications sometimes can be extensive. So having an advisor help you out would be very beneficial.
Perfect.
All right. So moving along, okay, back to our 5 pillars again, discussing other ways that you can really gain experience as a pre-health student through leadership opportunities. I say right now really is like, I call it like our RA season, but it really is just like student leadership season right now, because this is the time when a lot of the applications come out for roles such as resident assistant, admissions ambassador, and even a cool new position we have at NSU called community care coach. So looking into these awesome positions to be a leader on campus, and then also looking into Shark Hub, which we talked about for other leadership opportunities or other organizations that you can join. Specifically as a pre-health student, looking into pre-health related organizations such as like Pre-Med Society, MedLife, and etc. We have a bunch of different ones that, you know, even my students are telling me that during this time are still going on. They're still having Zoom meetings with hundreds of students and still engaging the community even through the pandemic. So highly suggested looking into those. And then looking into any other ways that you can become a leader, whether it's on campus through things like tutoring, orientation, other ways, or also leadership opportunities off of campus. It really doesn't matter as long as you're able to showcase to maybe, you know, a future medical program or a future pre-professional program that that you were a leader, you know, on campus or off, and you're interested in being a leader in the future as well. All right.
So important, those leadership experience, and not just the experience itself, but the transferable skills that come to it. I know we always say it, but going into medical school or professional school, expect you to have all the clinical knowledge. They'll teach you how to diagnose, to treat, but what they can't teach you is some of those soft skills: communication, relationship building, problem solving, diffusing situations, advocating for others, things that can be developed in a lot of other settings throughout college.
Definitely. I think I've had a lot of students tell me, Emilio, like, oh, I really should be focused just on like my pre-health related experiences, but that's not necessarily the case, because any experience is very transferable on an application or even through, you know, interview setting if you can share the skills that you've gained. All right. So moving along, we also did want to bring up Handshake like we always do, which is our amazing career platform. Handshake, like I said, is our career platform for all NSU students and alum to connect with employers, look for opportunities such as part-time work, full-time work, internships, and also look for events. We post all of our events on Handshake as well. And we'll be talking about our career fair coming up. Just to touch on a couple of fun facts about Handshake, it's really one of the largest networks of career services and recruiting professionals in the world. If you see this picture here, there's a list of all these different amazing companies that use Handshake. And it's just really important to consider going onto this site, because not only do we have our events, like I said, but students are really using this to find resources and find internships, find jobs, everything that really a student is looking for during their career journey.
Absolutely. And we're going to be talking about career fairs and newsletters, all things that you could be able to find on Handshake as well. So this is your number one platform to find those opportunities, and even our 5 pillars also in there. So let's say, this semester you want to gain experience, you want to immerse yourself in, developing the critical knowledge you need in healthcare. A great way to do that is case competition. So every semester we host 1 to 2 case competitions, and it offers students a chance to solve real life scenarios in fictitious settings. So basically we create scenarios where students are put in the role of CDC professionals, FDA professionals, or healthcare directors. And the chance is really to develop and immerse themselves in research and trends in healthcare, and use their critical thinking skills to come up with solutions to these cases. All case competitions are eligible for 1 Excel unit. And there's many prizes, anywhere from gift cards to scholarships, onwards, that really can entice students to get involved in it. And the great thing is you could do it all on your time. So you're not on a set schedule like research. It's a good way of getting your foot in the door. This semester, we have a really exciting case dealing with telehealth. So we 19, and obviously this is a trend and it's affected healthcare, where many professionals, healthcare organizations, they've now moved to a telehealth model where it allows them to treat and meet with patients in a virtual setting. And so we've challenged students to immerse themselves in the research of telehealth and develop a research paper where they're going to talk about trends in telehealth, concerns, barriers, and how with the growth of telehealth, how are they going to increase access to that area of healthcare for rural populations and others. And so students will be able to develop that research paper. Now, simultaneously, the U.S. Army Medic Team will be leading a series of workshops to teach students the skills you need to meet patients in a virtual setting. So you'll learn how to do SOAP notes, which are the virtual notes. You'll learn how to deal with difficult patients, resiliency. And the top 4 research papers will be able to go ahead and take those skills learned in the workshop and apply it to patient actors in a live scenario over Zoom. So really exciting. Now the top team will get $400 prize. So already great. You can earn Excel units, you can immerse yourself in the research, and a great prize involved as well. And just to mention, we have our info session on Thursday, January 21st from 12:30 to 1:30. If you're interested in signing up, you know your team, all you have to do is email casecompetitions@nova.edu and we'll get you signed up. You can compete by yourself or in a team of up to 3 to 5 individuals. The other thing we want to talk about is another avenue to find jobs, internships, research, volunteer work. We have a virtual career fair specifically focused for pre-health, exercise science, and research students. This is a great way to find and meet with employers that are eager to hire students, learn about opportunities, prepare for your future goals. And it's a whole week of events. That's just one we wanted to bring up. We even have a grad and professional school fair that week, where you could be able to meet with grad programs, admissions counselors. I'm going to stop sharing my screen just for 1 second so I could show you as a student, how do you find those opportunities on Handshake? I'm just going to switch to my student account on Handshake and then share my screen. All right. So when you log into Handshake, this is what you typically see. If you're curious to learn about the fairs on Recruiter Shark Week, you can just hit events on the top left corner. And then you have these filters. We're going to go ahead and click on career fair. And it pulls all the career fairs we have planned for this semester. You can see there's a good variety of them. For this one, we're just going to go ahead and click on the pre-health fair. And if you scroll down even more, you can see more employers. Our career fair is going to be held virtually through our remote platform. So if you're interested in saving yourself a spot, you can go ahead and click on this link and it'll take you directly to our Remo landing page. And it takes 20 seconds to reserve your spot and create an account. But if you want to explore which employers are in attendance, we could just click on see more employers. And you can see we have Atlantis, the CDC, Foundation for Sickle Cell Disease Research. We have International Medical Relief, some scribe companies, science and personal training companies, U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, U.S. Stem Cell Clinic, United States Army Medical Recruitment Center, who is putting on the telehealth competition we just talked about. But this is a good way of exploring who's going to be in attendance. And we have a multitude of fairs. So not just this one, we have one geared with nonprofits and others. So a great way for you to gain experience and see what's available to you as a student this semester in terms of gaining those experiential opportunities.
Emilio, I have to say the list of employers looks amazing this semester. I'm really excited about it.
I love to hear that. And this is all for you. And that's only the beginning. I mean, this webinar right now we're doing is in January. The event itself is not till March, and we already have 16 employers just for pre-health signed up. So, you know, really stay tuned and keep checking in because that employer list really does grow exponentially week to week. Now, speaking of opportunities, we also send out a monthly pre-health newsletter. So every month we send a newsletter to pre-health students, letting them know services available that we're talking about today. We promote our top internships and jobs. We have a whole section on upcoming events that are related to you. And so this newsletter is really important for you. If you don't have the time to search for opportunities, here's a good digest of some of the best that you could be able to apply for. Now, So that newsletter gets sent once a month, but once a semester, we know you might be looking for opportunities closer to home or in the summer. And so we send a regional newsletter known as Sharks Uncaged. So we have a Northeast edition, a Southeast, West Coast, Midwest. We even have one completely geared towards research opportunities. And these newsletters are for you to be able to look and search and apply. Our office can help you apply strategically. But really no excuse on not knowing what's available to you, because we make sure that it's coming to you in whatever form is best for you. You could search on your own, or you could be able to look at our newsletter. You can work with an advisor, and anywhere from a career fair to case competitions, there's a lot of avenues to gain those experiences.
Yeah, and I have to say, I love the monthly newsletter. That's probably one of the best resources I send to my students, because it's so much helpful information to digest and really split up in different categories, whether it's events coming up like that can help you out with healthcare opportunities, jobs, etc. So definitely something I keep an eye out for every month. And next up, we have the planning for professional school. So I know this is a session that we had probably in December too, where we talked a little bit more about how to make yourself a competitive applicant. What's the timeline of what to use? And we walked through the Student Doctor Network website. So that's a fantastic website that allows students to really log on. There's a community of other students in the same position as you, and current med or dental or current professional students who want to give mentorship and answer any of your questions. So that's a great website to continue using, knowing what resources are available to you. Studying for those exams while you can, especially because that can be really helpful to know where you're at if you want to take a test a first time, like the MCAT, and see where you're at in comparison with some of the schools that you want to apply to if you need to retake it. So it helps to use your resources there too, like the Tutoring and Testing Center, where they have plenty of great study materials and practice tests for you to utilize. Network for your letters of recommendation too. I know that's a great thing to start preparing for before you're actually starting your application, because believe it or not, a lot of the schools, they'll ask for between 2, sometimes to 5 letters of recommendation. And they often do want to hear from some of the professors that you've had, including the science ones. So starting to, go to those office hours, build genuine relationships with your professors, and seek advice from them, do research with them, just find ways for them to really know who you are and want to write those letters later for you. And kind of like Gabby and Emilio have already mentioned, work with your career or edge advisor too, because they're your advocates all along this way. And we want to be seeing you succeed and go through this application process with you, because we are like your biggest cheerleaders, wanting to really, hear these updates, hear where you're at, and see you succeed here. So do your research, see what schools are the ones that you want to go to. Sometimes it helps to narrow it down by like the states you want to go to, or maybe by the programs like osteopathic versus allopathic. So, do your research and narrow down from there, because that can really help you later on when you see like what MCAT score you need, what GRE you need, et cetera. So that, and just summing it all up, preparation is key. Like using a lot of these resources, tutoring and testing, student doctor, your career advisor, a lot of that can help you prepare and feel good for that professional school moment.
Some really good points, Danny. And then also attend our graduate and professional school fair, where we'll have College of Osteopathic Medicine, College of Allopathic Medicine, all of our other programs, College of Dentistry, and then outside of NSU programs that'll be available to you. And that's a chance for you to be able to meet with them, talk to admissions counselors, get some of the guidance you need. So a lot of avenues for you to be able to prepare success. But as Danny mentioned, preparation is really key for all of this.
And of course, there's no way to start off a semester for January and winter 2021 without really talking about you yourself also taking care of yourself. Because I know this is probably a lot of information you're seeing in one presentation about ways to build these experiences. But one of them is also just, balance in your life too, engaging in that self-care. And probably a lot of you too may still be at home or finding ways to adjust, whether it's in the res halls or whatever it may be. So just finding those dedicated workspaces for yourself where you feel like you can focus, still maintain that academic pillar, and feeling like that's a huge priority still in your semester, while feeling like you can also celebrate yourself, invest in your hobbies, your interests, and still be true to who you are. And lastly, just understanding you're not alone in this. Not only are, every pre-health student in the world is experiencing, not being able to volunteer in a hospital or whatever it may be. You also have allies like us who want to support you and be alongside you as well.
Feel supported. Know you have various resources, mentors, advisors that are in your corner. You're not climbing this mountain by yourself. You have a lot of people to be able to help you, including the CAPS office. The Center for Academic and Professional Success is here for you, whether it's discussing the 5 pillars, career exploration, helping you approach shadowing, internships, volunteer, research, developing your resume and cover letter, planning for graduate school, writing an effective personal statement, really anything in your career goals, we can provide you the support and tools necessary to be successful. And so we're in your corner. You could schedule an appointment by visiting Navigate, or you can call our office at 954-262-7990. Come for a drop-in appointment, schedule a full hour. And all of our advisors are well trained. We have knowledge experts, and also continuously staying tuned to our Wake Up Pre-All Sharks webinar. You could attend live, or you can look at our recordings, which we have on our YouTube channel. Just go on YouTube and look for NSU CAPS.
Thanks, Emilio.
Thank
Have a
you
great
again for
semester,
joining
everyone.
us. It was another great session. Thank you to our experts for being able to share their insights and knowledge. We hope you have a great winter semester, and we're making sure that you have an edge in your career by giving you the pre-health knowledge you need to be successful.
Thanks for joining, everyone. Happy New
Bye,
Year.
everyone. Thank you.